Good morning, welcome to yoga. My name's Emily and I'll be teaching a Vinyasa flow class today. Make sure that you listen to your body and take breaks when you need them, and feel free to adapt the practice to your own level. All right, let's start out in child's pose today. So, you're gonna get on your hands and knees and then just press those hips back. Stretch those arms forward and rest your forehead on your mat and breathe. Remember when you were little and you used to make forts? That's kind of what this child's pose is like. You just kind of cuddle up and curl up and find a little place of safety to reset and reground. All right, on your next inhale, let's come back to this four-post position and we're gonna do some cat and cow stretches. So drop your belly, tilt your tailbone up and look up as you inhale, and then exhale round, chin to chest. Keep going here. All right, let's come to a neutral spine. You're gonna curl your toes under and then lift your hips up and press back for downward facing dog. I'm gonna walk out my first dog here, pedaling the legs. And now from here, I'm gonna tiptoe up to almost to the top of my mat. I won't get too close. All right, from here, you're in a forward fold. You can have your hands on your shins or your knees, and you can bend your knees as needed to make this pose nice and relaxing. I don't want it to feel like agony for you. And I just like to sway a little bit here to wake the body up. All right, stopping in the middle. Let's do a little work with the neck by nodding the head. Turning from side to side. And gently roll, circle sweep all the way up. Hands to heart center. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down, leading with the heart. Inhale, halfway lift, shins or towards the mat. Exhale, release. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, look up. Let's come back to downward facing dog. So bend your knees, walk those hands forward, step back, and you're gonna bring those hips up and back for downward facing dog. Okay, from here, I'm gonna play with my hips a little bit. I'm gonna go from one side with the hips to the other. This is good for strengthening the core because you keep changing your center balance here. If this is too much, feel free to come onto your knees and you can kind of just move the hips from side to side from your knees as well. All right, I'm gonna drop my knees, rock forward, and lower all the way down, following the breath. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift up, low cobra. Curl the toes under and come up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up. I'm just gonna stay here for a little bit and I'm gonna play with my ankle here. I'm flexing and pointing the ankle. Now I'm gonna bend that knee, trying to keep equal pressure on both hands and both wrists still. Inhale up again, and I'm gonna lower that leg down. And now I'm gonna get the other side. Inhale the left leg up and play with that foot a little bit. Pointing, flexing, maybe circling the ankle. And now bend the knees, stack the hips. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Bend your knees, look forward, inhale. And on your exhale, let's tiptoe back up to the top of our mats. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's come into our chair pose. So toe heeling the feet together, making sure your weight is evenly distributed. Imagine there's a chair behind you and you're just about to sit on it. So now the weight is on the heels and the toes are nice and relaxed on your mat. Deep breaths here. Okay, now I'm going to transition to a balancing pose, a one-legged chair. So I'm going to take my left foot and cross it over the right, flexing that foot. And I'm going to just stay here. You may decide to stay in a chair pose if you find this, the two-legged chair pose, if this gets too frustrating for you. As you can see, I'm pretty wobbly in balancing poses. All right, let's shake out both legs. That right leg was working pretty hard. We're gonna come back into the two-legged chair. Take a couple breaths. And now I'm gonna cross the right leg over the left. And I'm a little more steady on this side. Usually your sides are different depending on which side is dominant for you. All right, let's release, shake it out, and we'll continue with our sun salutations. We'll be doing some more of those one-legged chairs on both sides. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Follow that breath. Inhale, look up. And I'm gonna come into to downward facing dog. And then transition by rocking forward and dropping the knees, coming into a modified plank, and then lowering all the way down. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift up, low cobra. And let's come up and back for downward facing dog again. Okay, let's work those, let's open up through those hips a little bit more. So inhale the right leg up and exhale, you're just gonna open here, still trying to press with both hands evenly. Inhale, extend up with that leg and lower. Inhale the left leg up. And now bend your knees, stack your hips here. And inhale the foot up and exhale, lower down. Bend your knees, inhale, look forward, exhale, jump or tiptoe. Inhale, circle sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Release the hands, bend the knees, step back, rock forward, dropping the knees, and lower down. You don't have to drop the knees, I just need a little more support with my neck issues. Inhale, look up, and then make your way up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, and this time we're gonna step it through, making our way to warrior two. So step all the way forward, back foot comes down, and we're gonna open up to the side, stretching out those arms. Cartwheel all the way down, coming into a low lunge. Step back, rock forward, maybe dropping the knees, maybe not, lower. Untuck the toes and lift, and make your way up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, float the left leg up, exhale, step it through, back foot comes down, and sweep open. Warrior two. Those arms are nice and open and the shoulders are down, and you're really engaging through the legs and through the core here. Breathe. My 10th breath, I'm gonna cartwheel down, step back, rock forward again, lower, untuck the toes and lift, and make my way up and back, downward facing dog. I'm gonna creep the feet forward and then walk the hands back. Inhale all the way up, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. And I'm gonna bring my hands to heart center, and I'm gonna do a gentle back bend. So I'm gonna interlace my fingers, all but the pointer finger. Stretch up and back. If it feels better, you can have your hands on your hips in a supportive pose. And now coming back up to center, I'm gonna toe heel the feet in and make my way into my chair again. Relaxing the toes, bringing the weight into the heels, as if you're just about to sit on a chair. All right, let's cross the left leg over now, flexing that foot to create the balance. All right, let's shake it out, release, and we'll come back into our chair pose, and then we'll balance on the other side. All right, let's transition to the other side, keeping that leg flexed. Helps to find something still to focus on when you balance. All right, let's release here, shake it out, and I'm gonna come all the way down to boat pose. So lowering those hips, I'm gonna reach my arms out and bring the feet up and balance here. You can hold on to the backs of your legs if you need. You can also straighten those legs to make this more challenging. I'm gonna keep my feet down so that you can see my face. All right, from here, grab onto the legs and we're gonna rock and roll a little bit, kind of borrowing from Pilates. Roll back. Oops, I better take off my sweater here, otherwise I have a lump in my back. Okay, so rocking and rolling. Sorry, bra strap. And now I'm gonna come all the way forward and straighten the legs. Inhale, circle sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, follow the breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, circle sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's come back to our chair pose. Toe heel the feet in. Bring the hips back. And you can stay in this chair or you can transition, as I'm going to do, to a balancing one-legged chair. And now I'm gonna try coming forward towards that leg just to make this a little bit more of a challenge. This may not be available to you. All right, now I'm gonna rise up and come back to my chair. All right, let's cross the other leg over. For me, it's the right leg, flexing the foot. And I'm gonna try the same thing here to lower down towards that shin until I kind of meet the shin. And now coming back up, I am going to uncross and again come back to my chair. All right, let's lower down into our boat from here. So gently lowering and bring those feet up. Release the legs if it's there for you. The best way to develop a safe practice is to really work and develop your core so that it can support you. That's also going to help you reduce your chance of injury in everyday movements. We really need those core muscles that wrap all the way around in order to protect the back from strain. All right, let's rock and roll a little bit. So grabbing onto the back of the legs, rock and roll. And I'm gonna roll all the way forward this time into a forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Let's come into our chaturanga. So bend your knees, plant your hands. I'm gonna step back. Rocking forward to plank. I'm gonna drop my knees here. Lower on the exhale. Untuck the toes, press them into the mat. Inhale up. And let's make our way to downward facing dog. Okay, back to warrior two. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Back foot comes down. Open here. Okay, from here I'm gonna come to extended side angle. So I'm gonna bring my right hand to the right thigh and reach the other arm up and over towards my ear. One nice long line here from the tips of my fingers all the way down to my heel. All right, let's come back up to warrior two. And now let's transition to a side plank. Cartwheel down, step back. I'm gonna rock forward to plank, and I'm gonna open up to the side. You can certainly drop a knee here if you need to or want to. Now we're gonna play with that hip a little bit again, lowering down the hip and lifting. Lower and lift. 2, 3, 4, 5, going to 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You can really feel this in the lower back. All right, let's go to the other side. So rocking through center, you're welcome to drop your knees. I'm gonna reach up on the other side, coming into side plank. Checking in the camera here to make sure my arms are aligned and that I'm not hyperextending. That's my bad habit. If you see me doing that, don't copy. All right, now let's do our lifts. So we're gonna lower the hip down. It would look like this if your knee is down. And then we're gonna lift up, okay? So lower, lift, lower, lift. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's come back down into our plank pose, and I'm gonna press up and back for downward facing dog. Now we're gonna get warrior two on the other side. Float the left leg up, step it between the palms, back foot comes down, and cartwheel open on the other side. Warrior two. From here, bring the left arm to the left thigh and reach the other arm up and over the ear. Coming back up, cartwheel down, step back, inhale, rock forward, drop the knees, lower down, untuck the toes, inhale, lift up, low cobra, and then come up and back Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, inhale, and gently come up. So now I'm gonna circle sweep all the way up, and I'm gonna show a supported back bend this time. So I'm gonna bring my hands to my lower back, fingertips up, and just open. You can also have your hands reaching up without supporting the back. I'll show that in just a second. All right, let's say I want a little deeper. We'll interlace the fingers and reach up. All right, let's bring those hips in, toe heel the feet in, bring the hands to heart center, and come to our chair pose. Nice breaths. All right, so I'm gonna cross the left leg over the right first. And we're gonna try lowering down again. This is optional, of course. Whoops. This sometimes happens. I'll have to start over. So I lost my balance there, as you could see, I'm sure. Part of learning how to practice is sometimes falling, just like in life. If we don't take some risks, we're never gonna get stronger. All right, coming back up. Let's uncross the legs, come back to our chair pose. Okay, let's do the other side. So crossing, you can stay here. I'm gonna lower down towards that shin till my elbows are touching the shin. And this is sort of preparatory for flying pigeon, which is a pose that I can't yet do. But it would be, you'd balance then with your arms on the mat and then bring this back foot up. All right, unwind, come back to chair pose. And now I'm gonna lower all the way down into my boat. So lower, lower, lower. And bring those legs up. And now I'm gonna do a little bit of bridge work. Okay, so I'm gonna bring those feet down and come down onto my mat. Walking the heels all the way up to the rear. I'm gonna bring my head and neck down. So now press into the heels and we're gonna lift those hips up. The heels down. I'm gonna hug my knees to my chest and rock back up into a boat pose. From boat pose, I'm gonna come forward, stretching out my legs and reach for those feet. You may not be able to quite reach the feet, and that's okay. All right, coming up, let's do Marichi's pose. So I'm bringing the left leg in, left hand behind the hip, and I'm gonna twist over to the left. Let's release. And stretching out, let's stretch forward again. And now we're gonna get the other side. Stretch up and then over. Coming back to center. Let's come forward. And shall we come back into our boat? Making your way up and then release when you have your boat pose. All right, lower the feet down. We're gonna do a little bit of a toning bridge. So lower all the way down, walk the feet up, and you're gonna lift those hips up. And then from here, just keeping the hips up, you're gonna open and close the knees. Now lift, close the knees, lift the right leg up, and we're gonna lower and lift here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's get the other side. Lift up and lift and lower the hips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Lower the feet down. Let's lower the hips all the way down, and we're gonna open here, coming into a reclining bound ankle pose. Left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Taking a little break. All right, and now we're gonna do kind of like a frog crunch. And the thing I like about this is by keeping the legs open, the hip flexors can't kick in and take all the work over for the core. So bringing your hand behind your neck, but not pulling on the neck. The hands are just there to guide you. So mine are barely touching by my ears. Okay, I'm gonna lift up and lower down, and then just keep going here. Let's close the knees and hug the knees to your chest and rock a little bit here. And let's come back into our boat pose. So we're using both flexion and then also stabilizing the core muscles with the boat. All right, release the feet down. I'm gonna bring my hands behind me and cross my left leg over. And I'm just gonna kind of open up through the chest here and just allow the back of the hip to open. All right, now I'm gonna cross both legs over, and I'm gonna stretch this hip a little bit more. And now I'm gonna lean forward here. Just finding different ways to open up through the hip. All right, let's get the other side. So crossing the other leg over and flexing the foot. I'm just kind of walking this left leg towards me and just trying to get a stretch in this right hip. Just leaning back on my hands. And this is kind of a variation on pigeon pose. All right, now crossing the legs over, I'm gonna pull this right knee towards me, trying to root down with my hip into the mat to get opening through the side of the leg. All right, and now releasing, I'm kind of bringing the knees down towards each other and coming forward. Don't force this stretch. I'm reasonably flexible, but I didn't do this the first time I practiced yoga. All right, let's release. We're gonna unravel the legs, open them up to the side, and I'm gonna come forward here. All right, let's stretch up and over to the left. So with my chest facing forward, I'm reaching up and over towards that left toe. And now I'm gonna move my chest towards the leg and reach towards that foot. All right, let's go to the other side. So first, reaching up and over towards that right foot with the chest forward. And now I'm gonna bring the chest towards that leg and reach towards the toes that way. And coming back to center, now I'm a little bit more open. I'm gonna come forward and hold this pose. Let's stretch a little bit through the inner thigh. So I'm gonna bring the right leg towards me and bring this other foot more out to the side, and then leaning forward here, I'm gonna get a stretch through the inner thigh. Get the other side. So bringing the left foot into the groin, and my heel is down, my toes are up here. I'm leaning forward to try to get a stretch in the inner thigh here. And to me, this feels really good. If you're feeling pain, please gently come out of it until you're at a point where it feels nice and you're stretching, but no pain. With each breath, see if as you release, you can release any tension in the body. All right, let's gently come out of it. I'm gonna bring both feet forward. And now I'm gonna open up the knees and lean forward. Again, stretching through those inner thighs. All right, let's come down onto our mats for Shavasana. So close the knees, roll all the way down, bring the feet out, and just open here. Let me bring you a little closer to me. Now, I don't know if any of you know that I'm a Spanish speaker, not native, but it's my second language. And one of the things I like about the way they talk about emotions in Spanish is they have, like if you say I am sad, am is a verb that can be either transitory or it means something that's permanent. Like I would be soy una mujer, like I'm a woman, and I don't plan on changing that, so that's soy, but it's like estoy is the other word, estar, which means just a temporary feeling. And when people say that they are sad, in Spanish they would say estoy triste or me siento triste. I'm feeling sad, or I am sad, but it's not permanent. And I encourage you, when you look at your own emotions or talk about them, that you talk about your feelings like not I am angry or I am sad, where you identify with that feeling, but I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, recognizing that it's an emotion that will pass, but that it's a good clue that something is going on. You shouldn't suppress it. But if you overly identify with it, I am angry. Anger isn't who you are. It's just an emotion that's passing, like all emotions. So just something to think about. But right now I'll tell you, me siento alegría. I feel joy. wiggle your fingers and toes. And I'm gonna walk my feet up and then roll over towards you. Hi there. Sorry, didn't mean to knock you over. Just staying here on our sides in comfy little fetal position. Just continuing to breathe and staying with that body and that breath. And if you've noticed that you're getting distracted and you're already leaving your practice, just gently bring your mind back to the practice and back to the breath. You don't have to be frustrated with yourself. Everybody gets carried away by thoughts. Being mindful doesn't mean you don't have thoughts or get carried away from them. It just means that you gently bring yourself back. All right, let's come into a seated position on your mat. Sorry, I'm having problems with my little tripod here. Okay, there we go. All right, come to a seated position, bringing your hands to heart center, bring your thumbs to forehead center. Namaste. Thank you very much. Have a good day.